I have been stuck on Project Lily for a while now, about a week. It has started to become a struggle. Lately, when I sit down to write, I'm just staring at the computer screen and the words are not coming to me, the ideas are not coming to me, and it's been kind of frustrating because I want to sit down and write, like I have the time to do it, I'm physically and I would think mentally ready to do it. But it's just when I sit in front of that computer, it's like nothing comes out. And I've been so stuck that I've even had to pull out my brainstorming notebook. It's right here. I have it on the table and I've had to scribble in that to try and get my brain to function. I actually called my sister and asked for help for a scene, which I don't typically do. Usually when I ask her advice, it's something very, very specific. And I was just like, I can't figure out how to do this. It's been so bizarre. I've never experienced anything like this while I've been writing. And it's time for me to hopefully snap out of it, and you guys are going to help me. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie, and I'm writing my very first book called Project Lily. I'm currently in my 4th draft, and I am on chapter 19, and I've been on chapter 19 for 4 days. Hold on. Let me go get my computer and look. Well, I won't know because I don't keep track of that. Never mind. I only keep track of words per day. I don't keep track of chapters. So I would have no record of when I started chapter 19. But I think it's been, let's see. So the first day I wrote like part of a scene and then I got so stuck. That's when I called my sister. She gave me some good advice. The second day I was brainstorming a lot, didn't do any writing. Third day, brainstormed some more. Then I started writing. And 4th day, I finished the first scene in chapter 18. So I've been working on it for 4 days. This is beyond me. And I honestly was struggling before chapter 18. I was struggling a little bit on chapter 17 as well. And it's a combination of things, I think. These are brand new chapters that I added to improve the plot in terms of the pacing and the rate at which information is dropped. But normally new scenes don't really affect me that much. Usually I can write them pretty quickly. So this has been a very strange experience for me. I don't know what has gotten me into this funk, but I really need to get out of it because I need to make a lot of progress. So I'm going to buckle down and I am going to do everything I can to get ahead. I'm going to kind of settle into my regular writing routine where I try to write a little bit more throughout the day, maybe by giving myself some more time. Things will come to me. I'm going to have longer writing sprints. I'm going to be brainstorming my notebook, listening to music, and just trying to do everything possible for the ideas to start flowing and for me to get back on track with the writing. I'm about 45,000 words into the novel right now, which is about halfway. And I would really like to make significant progress and hopefully do the second half of the book in a shorter time frame than the first half. But it's only going to happen if I can get my act together and get really motivated and really into the zone with my writing. I don't have anything else planned for today. It's the afternoon, so I'm going to write for the rest of the afternoon and all of this evening. It's raining outside. It's gross. Why is it? I feel like it's always raining when I film my vlogs. That's not intentional. Maybe it's just rainy here. You know, it is April and they say April showers. But anyway, so tonight's a good night to stay inside and to really do as much as I can on my writing. I don't believe I'll finish chapter 18 tonight because I do have to start a new scene. And what I'm going to do first is brainstorm the new scene. What I've found that really helps me is to brainstorm and do like a mini outline of the chapter. I just do a sequence of events. This happens, then this happens, then they talk about this, and then this happens, and this information gets dropped. I put it out in order so that way when I start writing, I see what needs to happen. I love doing this when I am more stuck than usual. It really helps guide my thoughts and keep me writing. So I'll do the brainstorming / outlining first, make sure I have a good idea of what I'm going to write, and then I'll start writing. I don't know if I'll finish chapter 18 today just because I'm not sure if there's one more scene or 2 more scenes in chapter 18. I'm going to have to see how long these scenes are and what needs to happen. My characters are in a location and I have 3 scenes planned for this location, and I have to write all 3 scenes before I decide how to divide it up into chapters. I've got my fingers crossed that I will be really productive tonight, hopefully no staring into space, and it will just be a lot of outlining and writing. Good morning. It is the next day. I wrote pretty late last night. I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be, but I at least was productive enough. I did get, I think, around 1,300 words yesterday, which, considering how long I wrote, was not a lot, but 1,300 words in a day is a lot, so I'm happy with that. I didn't finish that scene. I will hopefully finish it today. And I did figure out where I'm going to put, where I'm going to break it up and make it a new chapter. I thought it was a really good stopping point. I came up with that yesterday, but I haven't reached it yet. So I'm still on chapter 19. I totally lost my mind yesterday when I was talking to you, and I kept saying chapter 18, and I am on chapter 19. I think my brain is just so stuck, it still thinks it's, on the chapter before. But no, I'm on chapter 19, still doing chapter 19. Hopefully I will finish up chapter 19 today. Today, I'm going to get myself out of the apartment and in a totally new environment, hopefully to jumpstart my creativity. I am going to go to a coffee shop and write. Now, you have never seen this in my vlogs, and there's a very good reason. I haven't gone to coffee shops because I've never tried it, so I can't say, but I've always felt that working in a coffee shop would be too distracting for me. There would be people up doing things, and my eyes would notice the movement, and I'd get distracted, and there would be the noise. Yes, I could listen to music as well, but I'm sure the noise would kind of filter through whatever I'm listening to. And also, I just feel like it's a little bit less comfortable. For the most part, the chairs are going to be hard, and I'm going to be sitting like I'm sitting at a desk. And it's not going to be as comfortable as my chair or my couch, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but I wanted to try it because what I have noticed recently is I am a bit more productive when I'm sitting in the chair versus sitting on the couch. And I don't know if it's just me feeling a little bit lazy because I'm sort of laying down or what. I've also noticed when I do work at my desk, which is sparingly, I am a bit more productive. And I think it's just because it's this mindset of I'm at a desk, I'm going to do work. So I want to go to a coffee shop to just see if it actually is helpful to sit in a different environment. I'm curious about the environment, and then I'm curious about just sitting instead of kind of lounging around while writing. So I'm ready to go. I'm going to spend it's going to take me a half hour to get there. I scoped out coffee places and picked one I thought would have a lot of room for working. So I think I'm going to write for probably an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that'll be a good chunk of time. And then by then I'm going to want to take a break from writing anyway. I'm excited because this is going to be a new adventure for me. Draft 4 has been, in a way, a draft where I'm trying a bunch of new things, and so I can just add this to the list. But I'm looking forward to kind of being chill and being in a new environment, and we'll see how it goes. I'm back from writing and coffee, and I have to say it was surprisingly pretty productive. I wrote about 1,100 words in an hour and a half, which is quite on par for me, and I haven't been that in the zone in quite some time. The only issue was I probably picked the wrong day to try this out as an experiment. It is Good Friday, and I didn't realize that. And the coffee house was packed, and it was very, very noisy, which made it hard for me to focus right away, but once I was able to kind of tune out the noise, I was able to just go into writing. I definitely would like to try this again. I will search for a coffee shop that is less crowded. I don't know if that even exists, but this one was just a little too crowded for my liking. I mean, when I say it was noisy, it was like, I think they had music. At one point I heard music, but I didn't hear like music playing from the speakers. I heard it like for 30 seconds. And then after that, I couldn't hear music anymore because so many people were in there talking. It was definitely like a really good place to chill if you want to chat with friends, but I think to work, it wasn't as good. But I'm really glad I had it, and the coffee was amazing. So that was nice. And I finished chapter 19. Yes, chapter 19. I finished chapter 19, started chapter 20. And I'm only like a few paragraphs into chapter 20. And about at the hour and a half mark, I just kind of lost steam. And it wasn't anything in particular. It was just, I had been sitting there typing for an hour and a half and thinking, and it was getting close to lunchtime. And it was just, my body's way of telling me it's time to stop and take a break. So I'm back. I'm going to have some lunch, and then I will get back into writing for pretty much the rest of the day. I don't really have any big plans. All my YouTube work is done. I don't have any other things I need to do today, so pretty much writing is it. I'm really looking forward to see how much I'm going to write today. If I already wrote 1,100 words, I can't even imagine how many more I'm going to write today. I hope I can continue my productivity. It would be really amazing if I can. I was so productive yesterday. I cannot believe it. I ended up writing a total of 1,600 words, and I know I wrote like 1,100 in the morning, so that means I wrote another 500 in the afternoon. Then I spent the rest of the afternoon and the evening revising. So I finished writing chapter 19, I finished writing chapter 20, and then I revised chapter 19 in its entirety, and then I revised the first scene in chapter 20. I still have one scene left. I think I did an amazing amount of work yesterday. I'm really proud of myself. And I even worked on revising the first scene on chapter 20 this morning. It's an exchange between two characters, and I had originally written it as kind of a cutesy scene. And when I was revising it last night, I kind of had this idea pop in my head. And you can call it one of my intuition downloads. These happen quite frequently, where there wasn't really any purpose to the cutesy exchange. It was just something cute to throw in there. And I had this idea where, what if something else happens during the cutesy exchange, and it gives the reader a little more insight into the thought processes of the character and kind of a little bit her personality. It's an opportunity to learn more about what she believes about herself. And I think that's really, it's kind of a driver of this whole story. And I know I haven't done a really great job of expressing that because I've struggled with it. But this to me felt like the perfect opportunity to kind of work that in there. And it's only really in there for like, 5 or 6 lines. It's not a huge ordeal, but it's enough to where I wanted to give insight into it. And I think it's really cool. It's a tad emotional. It was never supposed to be emotional. It was supposed to be this like kind of happy, upbeat thing. And now it's a little bit more emotional because of the insight into her psyche. But it's interesting and it's good. And when I get emotional over something, I know that the reader, as long as I do a good job of communicating it, the reader probably will too. But anyway, that is done. And what I'm going to do for the rest of the day is finish revising chapter 20 and start working on chapter 21. I don't know how far I'm going to get today. I really feel like I'm on a roll, and yesterday was so insanely productive, and I'm really hoping I can carry that energy over into today. If I can, I dare say that maybe I might have clawed my way out of this writing slump that I've been in. So we'll see what happens today. I don't want to jinx myself in any sort of way. But I'm really excited to get back into writing today and hoping to make some really great progress. You know what time it is. It's cookie time. I have not made the actual cookie dough in weeks, maybe even a month. I have been wanting to make cookie dough for quite a few weeks now because I ran out of cookie dough. I used up all the ones in my refrigerator because I had a really hard time finding eggs. It was the wildest thing. Every time I went to the grocery store, they would have eggs there, but when you looked at the expiration date, the eggs expired in like 5 days or 7 days or 10 days. And I don't eat a lot of eggs. I pretty much just use them for baking. So I wasn't going to buy a bunch of eggs and have them expire in a week. I can't do that much baking. So I've been pretty unsuccessful on my trips to the grocery store lately in terms of eggs for cookies. And I was so frustrated that I actually went yesterday morning when I was coming back from my coffee. I stopped at a completely different grocery store. They had eggs. They didn't expire for an entire month, and that was great. So I picked those up, and now I can finally make cookies. It was also a nice little treat and a nice break because I have been working really, really hard, and I definitely needed to reward myself. I think I can finally call my writing slump done. I made such great progress yesterday and this morning. Yesterday, let me get my word counts. I brought my computer this time because I always leave it like over there where I can't reach it, and then I'm forgetting like word counts and stuff. So last night I wrote 2,100 words. That's really good. That's very high. And I am so close to 50,000. I'm 17 words away from 50,000 words, and that's a huge milestone because 50,000 words is going to be halfway of my novel. So I finished chapter 21 this morning. I was very close to finishing it last night. I just didn't have the time to finish it. And I finished it up this morning, and then I revised all of chapter 21. I worked really, really hard yesterday, and I think it definitely shows. Things are also starting to get a little more exciting in my story because the plot is starting to move forward. I wasn't really sure about this new plot stuff that I put in, but as I wrote the last few chapters over the past few days, it really looks to me and it feels like things are actually progressing, and that's something that my novel has missed in all these drafts, is that progression, the feeling like things are moving in a certain direction, whether it's good or bad. And I even was getting excited at certain points as I was revealing plot lines and things. So I'm hoping the excitement is kind of maybe what I was missing before. And now that I'm back into the excitement and back into some interesting things, I'm just have a little more energy as I'm writing. As far as the lack of excitement I've had over Project Lily recently, I'm gonna have to take a look at draft 4 when I'm done with it to see what happened, where I went wrong. I have some thoughts, but I can't quite remember everything I wrote because that was like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that I wrote some of this stuff, and I can't quite remember on a word level or on a scene level what is where and where I might need to look. So it really would require reviewing the whole thing, and I don't review the whole thing until it's done. I think I did 3 chapters over this whole vlog, and that's a lot. Normally I don't do that many chapters over the course of a vlog, and I think that shows also how much more productive I was versus like previous vlogs. And this was even doing like small revisions after every chapter. And that's even the difference with this draft, is it's not just writing, it's writing and taking the time to revise a chapter when it's done. Now, I'm not going into like a huge, deep revision where I'm editing everything. My focus has always been plot and characters in this draft. So I just look at, do I have the plot points in there? Or do the characters say what they need to say? Do they express the feelings they need to express or think them? So I just go through and make sure I put everything in there. I'm really glad to be out of this funk because it was really messing with my morale. I was not sure what was going on. I was kind of disappointed because I just lost drive, and I don't know what happened, but over the last few days, things really clicked for me. And now I feel like I'm back on track and like I'll make a lot more progress, and I feel like things are moving more quickly. I really hope that this continues as I move into the second half of Project Lily. I can't wait to cross that 50,000 word threshold, which will probably be today. Unfortunately, I won't be recording it, but I know I will have another great video for you in the next writing vlog.